How's it going today? My name is Dustin Thacker, and I get the opportunity to present to you about why companies and people do bad things at work, and especially good people. What's amazing is most of the time when people do stupid or silly things at work, most of the times it's not a good reflection on themselves. It's a lot of the times reflection either A, on the company, or B, on just kind of poor situations that they might be in. One thing I want to talk to you about that I really enjoy and that I'm very passionate about is teamwork. I love being part of a team. One thing growing up, I played a lot of sports. My favorite sport to play was baseball. Baseball is a good analogy of a corporation and a company that you work in, because each person and each individual player on the team has a certain job that they need to do. A left fielder can't make a play for the third baseman. The third baseman can't make a play for the first baseman. But at the end of the day, each of those teammates and each of those players make an important part of the team. The success of one person brings over the success of the other person as well. So the success of a third baseman making a good play helps out the rest of the team, as it does with work as well. One thing that's important to remember that we talk when we think about work is that a culture is created. When we are in the office, a good culture can make up a big difference on what we do and how we address ourselves. One thing that's also important in that culture, I feel like, is tones versus tunes. When we have the opportunity as a kind of lower people, we don't meet the CFO. We don't see the CFO of the corporations and kind of the people who set the dynamic for the company, who set the culture for the company. But instead, we work a lot with the management, the middle management, and stuff like that. They may be the CFOs and the CEOs might say, look, we do these things well. We are moral, we are ethical in all that we do. But then when it comes back down to supervisors and stuff like that, they just have to get the job done. They're like, look, we don't care what happens, get the job done. And therefore, it can present different tones and tunes when we are working with those type of things. One thing that it's amazing to see the culture and the tones and tunes, it plays a big factor in all that we do. Right now, I'm at a company, or I've been at a company where the tones and tunes that sets up from the head of the company makes a big precedence. If your head of the company is setting a good culture, setting a good tune, wanting to make sure everything works well, it's amazing how people follow. If the head of the company and the president of the company, the CEO of the company said, look, we don't really care, we just want to get things done, the people will follow that as well. A good analogy I like to think of is the people on a boat rises and falls with the current, or rises and falls with the tide. If people on the boat are going to follow what's kind of ever happening, but if you are being led by a good captain, then it's amazing that when the tide comes in, everyone will go with it. And if you're not being led by a good captain, then hopefully you're not on that boat. Another thing that's amazing to me about kind of why good people do bad things at work is there's a concept called constant maintenance. This is an important thing because they believe that you really don't make a difference. Each individual person doesn't make a difference on what they're doing. If they feel as though they're not making a difference to the team, then at the end of the day, they're going to fudge a number here and there because they don't really believe it's going to make a difference on what they do. We need to realize and create an opportunity and a culture that what everyone does matters. And that's at the end of the day what we really want to do here at our company. We want to make a place for each individual person to be successful. We want them to feel as though they can come and work and be successful in what they do, and in each moment that they do matters. We want them to feel worthy and important when they come into the office, and that's what we want to step forward to, is that each thing matters and each person matters for us. Thank you.